Yeah, welcome. Today we'll discuss about the log4j, okay, Zeor-Day vulnerability in log4j 2.x API, okay, or remote code execution CVE 2021 44228 or log4j shell vulnerability. What is this vulnerability? We'll see in practical how the vulnerability is present and what are the remediation steps, how to remove, how to get rid of this vulnerability, and which is the version we need to upgrade, why this vulnerability not present in 1.x and why only present in 2.x version, which is the version Java version supported for the latest upgraded version, that is 2.17.1, and what are the some use cases, we what precautions we need to take care while upgrading our log4j. Okay, then first I will show the vulnerability in practical, how this lookup mechanism present in the application. Okay, if we go for the any standard Java, anyway I won't go to the detailed definition of log4j vulnerability and all. Anyway, there are many articles available in the internet which will give sufficient information. So rather than going to the basics, we will dig inside the code, how the vulnerability, how the lookup mechanism is happened. Okay, there are a number of sites available and blogs available in the internet. We can get much information from these sites. Okay, yeah, I created one of the small Java application. Here if you see, the application is enabled with log4j. Just I am doing some logging mechanism. Even in real time as well, we will go for the logging mechanism just for tracking the flow of execution. In case if we stuck anywhere or the application is hanged, what is the previous step happened? For tracking of application, we will go for the logging. Here logging we are having different levels like debug, info, war, error, fatal, severe. Okay, based on environment we will be enabling different levels. Generally, in case of development mode, the logging levels will be enabled from the debug onwards. This log4j, I am using log4j.properties files. Here I am configuring the some information where I need to generate the log file and what are the root level loggers, and I appended one of the file appender. Make sure this is 1.x specific log4j. Okay, and I added the dependent jar inside my library lib directory. So just I will execute once this code, and yeah, if you see here, anything which is present inside the logger statements within the double quotes treated as a string. String means it should be string, that's it. If we required, we can format these strings as per the user requirement. Suppose in this case %s I am using, means I am replacing whatever the suffix part, converting into string, then I am printing. This is the output. And remaining thing, log.debug, this is one of the statement. Okay, dollar flower basis java version, this is treated as a string in case of 1.x. even this thing as a, it is treated as a string, so it is printing as it is. If you observe here, there is no lookup mechanisms. What is lookup mechanism means, we will get inside 2.x. okay, whatever information we are providing inside this logger statements, that is treated as a strings and we are printing as it is. Okay. Similarly, I created one more application, a small application by using Maven, and this is my pom.xml. Here I provided the log statement required log4j 2.x means which is having the vulnerable version. Means if we go through any of the article, right, 44228, this issue, Zeor-Day vulnerability issue, is present between 2.0 beta to 2.15.0. But the JNDA feature used in configuration, log messages and parameters do not protect against attacker control LDAP and other JNDA related endpoints. Okay. So the issue is with the JNDA lookup. Now I created simple Java application by enabling logging mechanism by using 2.8.2 is the version I am using. Means it is vulnerable. How it is vulnerable we will see meanwhile. Then in this Maven project and logging application, I am using the XML configuration file for the log configurations. This is log4j 2.x. This is something simple. I am enabling the base path and some file appender as well as console appender and the file appender as well. So in case of 1.x, already we ran the application, so logs might be available in the directory where we configured. It will be C user C where is this? Let me run this one more time. Okay, there is no folder. Fine, that is not a problem. At least our console appender is working, right? Fine. And I'll run the log4j 2.x example as well. Just I'll run. Before running, I'll give some inputs in the 2.x specific. In case of 2.x, anyway, the logger instantiation will be different. In case of 1.x, logger.get logger we are using. But in case of 2.x, log manager.get logger. This instantiation will be different, and whatever the log statements we are using in 2.x, we are giving this string, right? If we provide any lookup kind of thing, lookup in the sense dollar followed by forever braces, inside that some lookup object information we need to provide. Like in case of 1.x, if we provide this one, 1.x treated this as a string and it will print as it is. But in case of 2.x, it will print the underlying value. Okay, I'll run this example once, then we'll see the output how it looks like. Okay, yeah, if you see, the logger statements are not completed, still it is doing some lookup kind of thing. If you see logger.info, here instead of printing java runtime, it is printing underlying JDK value. It is doing lookup and then performing this value. Now if you see, after running some time, I am getting this value, some domain.com. Why? Because still it is performing the JNDI lookup, and the line number 30 also as of now not printed. Why? Means it is still doing the lookup. It is searching for the server and searching for the object A. Yeah, now it is came. This is the issue in case of 2.x. This is how the JNDI lookup is happening. Okay, but in case of 1.x, this lookup is not happening. It is treated as a string, so we are getting as it is the value instead of going for lookup mechanism. Why? Means in 2.x onwards, log4j enabled the JNDI lookup or LDAP lookup kind of thing. So in case of any web application, okay, normally how the web application looks like means we are having a form with the username and the password. Okay, if my username is giving as like this in the form of JNDI lookup, if I am providing my username like this, obviously in one or another place we may capture that username in the loggers. Instead of printing as it is the loggers, our application code will be executed. Assume if we are providing username as like this and password is something, backend if we log in anywhere in the loggers this username, so instead of logging as it is, it will perform the JNDI lookup. And if you know, this JNDI lookup is nothing but this is monitored or this is controlled by the attacker. Some attack, it's not there. Okay, the URL seems to be like as updated earlier. We are having multiple tutorials available in the online. Just I will take one of the attacker URL. Yeah, if we provide the username in this form, right, then this is the URL and up and running in one of the server where this is managed by the attacker. So instead of username like this, if attacker is providing the URL like this, okay, I'll just remove this one. Yeah, if you provide a username like this, then what is happening, this is the where the object vulnerable or where the exploitation is happening. So instead of printing, we will do this JNDI lookup, LDAP lookup, and then the code execution present in this object will be executed inside our missions, so that our mission details may capture the attacker, then he can perform any unwanted activity. So this is the vulnerability. This is how the application is vulnerable. Hope this is clear. Just I'll run this program one more time. We'll observe the results. So whatever the normal strings, right? Anyway, strings will be printed as it is. And in case of 1.x, if you provide same thing, it is treated as a string. In case of 2.x, it will perform the underlying this Java program execution environment, then that is printing. Where this is the appending, okay. And if you see, after the lookup action is completed, then we are printing the output. Still this 30th last line is not printed because still lookup is happening. but the main difference, yeah, now we got the information. Now the main difference is this is the thing. In case of 1.x, log.debug, as it is treated as a string, then it will give the answer. But in case of 2.x, it will perform chain day lookup and it will print the underlying value. Okay. Now, as it is suggested, Apache main website, we are having different ways of handling or get rid of this vulnerability. There are multiple sites also available how to remediate the log4j. Like we can make this variable as true, no lookup true, or we can remove the JNDA lookup class from the jar, log4j-jar. This is also one type of remediation. Sorry. And this is some information. How does it work? Exploiting 44228. Yeah. Whatever information here provided, I just showed in terms of practical example. Okay. This is how the user agent will give information. Anyway, we are capturing under logs user agent, so the code will be executed. These are the different types of logging levels. Yeah, and this is Apache 2.x. Now to get rid of this vulnerability, we need to upgrade our application log4j from 2.x, means 2. Up to 15. In between 2.0 and 15, we need to migrate to 2.17.1. But for this compatibility, we need to use the Java 1.8 as the compatible versions. And these are the different versions and compatible Java versions as well they provided. Fine. This is some information they given. Yeah. While upgrading log4j from 1.x to 2.x, then Apache people provided the documentation as well. We are having two options. One is we can go with the 1.x bridge, this API jar, and the another one is option 2. We need to manually convert our implemented classes from 1.x to 2.x. As I showed earlier, logger instance, how can we get? In case of 1.x means logger.get logger, but in case of 2.x, log manager.get logger. This code modification we need to do in case of 1.x to 2.x migration. Okay, and they provided the multiple appenders as well, appenders configurations as well, and Apache people provided different types of lookup mechanisms as well. Okay. Yeah, and one more thing, while upgrading, we need to take care some precautions. We faced one of the issue. The issue is like our normally in production or real-time environment, our build will be doing in one mission and the deployment will be happens in another mission. So what is happening? We directly migrated our 1.x jars to 2.x. As updated, 2.17.1 is supported from Java 1.8 Java version. Okay. So in my build mission, I am using Java 1.7 and this is the deployment box. In this deployment box, we are using 1.7 as Java version and here 1.7 as the build mission. assume. Okay, now as okay, before navigating to this one, I need to give some information. See, we can get this log4j 2 or 2.17.1 either in the form of binary format or in the form of source format. Log4j 2.17.1 charge download. Yeah, I'll show what are the formats. Anyway, this log4j API will support Windows and Linux environment. In case of tar.gz means it's related to Linux environment, and if it is zip means it is related to Windows environment. Again, Windows environment we are having two files. One is binary and another one is source file. The binary means already Apache people compiled this all log4j Java classes and they made the jar. Sorry, inside the jar contains all .class files. But in case of source distribution, the files are in the format of .java. We need to explicitly compile. Sorry. Okay. In case of source codes, we need to explicitly compile these source files. Then we need to generate the jar files and we need to use it. In my case, we don't need any special compilation. So I used this binary source file, extracted and then placed into the lib directory. As the compilation is success, we didn't face any problem with 2.17.1. But at the time of runtime, the runtime is not supporting. Why it is not supporting means this source file is compiled by default Apache people with 1.8, but in case of 1.7 the deployment mission as 1.7. So from major version to minor version sorry, it may not support it. So we are getting like a version mismatch. Yeah, unsupported major minor version. Okay, unsupported major minor version and version 52. Okay, version 52, if we open, there are some, yeah, if you see 52, right, each Java version having different coding conventions. Okay, as compiled version will be Java 1.8, but the runtime environment is 1.7. So we are getting this unsupported version issue. So to get rid of that issue, either we need to compile our Apache classes with 1.7 and we can use with 1.7 missions, or we can upgrade this 1.7 deployment mission to 1.8 so that the version compatibility issue will be resolved. This is one of the case where we observed. Okay, hope this will give some information. If it is helpful, please do like, share, subscribe and comment it. Thank you.